Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the tier 10 Japanese carrier, the Hakuryu. I'm in the division with Montana. This is a random battle on the map Land of Fire. I have a new microphone position, so if you find any issues, I would love to hear your feedback because, well, I might not notice all of them. I try to keep them at a minimum, but, you know, there is still a limit to what I can accomplish. So, as usual in the Hakuryu, I launch my torpedo bombers first, fighters second, and dive bombers third. I make my fighters escort my torpedo bombers early on because my main point is to fight the enemy fighters because it's very rare for me to meet a carrier player that will outdamage me. Well, I don't mean like strict numbers, but like kill more stuff. So usually it's a good idea for me to try to do fighter battles against fighters so that I can make the enemy fighters run out of replacements and then be able to rule the skies. Especially because even if their fighters, the fighter battle never ends before the game ends, I usually tend to be able to take out more of the enemy ships than their carrier. Of course, it's not every time. I tried going in with a strafe and then a second one. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite on time. Like that fighter just accelerated away completely and there was little I could do. I wanted to go for the battleship that was towards the north, but he was next to a cruiser, so I left. So at this point my target is the enemy DD. This is always the scary part, because I have a really good opportunity to go and strafe the enemies. The downside is that, well, so does the enemy, and it depends on what I try to focus on. If I focus on the fighter stuff, I get a fighter disadvantage. If I focus on if I focus on strafing away the planes, I get a fighter disadvantage, while I could be striking the enemy. This is always a big dilemma for me, and I don't know which one is the correct one, because if the enemy DD is good, it's very difficult to do a strike on them. Like right now, this Kagero, I'm having incredible trouble. I don't think I'm even gonna be able to hit it because of the North Carolina next to it, giving me, a lot of pressure. Oh, actually no, never mind. This is gonna be at least one hit. Was hoping for two, but it was one. But I think I should get another one, perhaps even the kill. And I shot down 7 planes. I lost 2 fighters and 2 torpedo bombers, so I definitely came out on top of this. Especially because this was in friendly anti-air, so the enemy team likely lost a lot more carriers. Also, look at the points. We have A and B. We are at 500. Okay, never mind. We finally lost the ship. We were quite a bit ahead in points for a moment. We're still 200 points ahead. By the way, I moved my ship forward at the start when launching planes because it gives a slight, the planes will be slightly closer. It's not really much of a big deal. So my plan here is to take this dive bomber, try to set this North Carolina on fire, and then follow up with my other 2 dive bomber squadrons, and hopefully be able to set the North Carolina to burn without them being able to damage control party. It's questionable though because of the float plane of the North Carolina, because that one's going to be annoying as hell. Although it might not actually affect it. I've noticed that maybe it's not always a good idea to have your dive bombers be exactly on point, as you saw. Like that is in one direct cluster like you would want with torpedo bombers. Because the ships are moving, so if you do a drop on a specific portion of the ship, and the ship keeps moving in that direction, you will cover a larger area of the ship because, the 2 ovals will be spread out a little bit in one direction, that is the ship's length, so you're more likely to hit all the 4 areas of the ship and will set more fires. Because, you know, if all the bombs hit those 2 slots of fires, and they set the 2 fires, they can't set any more because they don't have, you know, a ship can only have 4 fires and only 1 fire in each section, so spreading them out like that can help. Although I'm not very certain that this is, you know, how to go about it and whether it's really worth trying, because there are also downsides to this. Like, you know, making it more difficult to organize your planes. Because if you look at my torpedo bomber drops, they're often very sloppy in the sense that they aren't like directly on point. The reason being that, well, if I do a torpedo bomber drop, then, if I send my planes out on the map, then I might have to jump to another squadron, which means that, well, I might not be paying attention to my original squadron, which means that the original squadron might just, you know, go AFK, and then they start doing these derpy circles, which screw everything over. Anyways, time to drop on the Yamato. I really should try to practice my torpedo bomber drops a lot. Because on a Yamato, you should, most of the time, be able to hit at least all 3, and often even 4. Like, yes, I hit 3, but the 4th wasn't even close. Yes, the Yamato did evasive action, so the most likely reason for this is just that, but still, it would have been better if I were confident in my ability to be able to hit all 4. That Yamato is so very dead. I'm gonna bring that 1 torpedo bomber squadron over. No, actually dive bombers first. Maybe the torpedo bomber squadron if it actually gets there. Okay, so my 1 fighter squadron engaged 2 of them, and they are locked into battle. Well, not really both of them. The enemy could pull the other one away, like he did just now. But the strafe still got that other squadron, so, I mean, we're pretty much equal right now. He's gonna probably try to defend the Yamato. If he times... Oh, actually no, it seems he actually ran out of ammunition. Never mind. I wanted to say that if he times his strafe well, he might actually be able to hit them. Like, look at this. Right now I got 2 fires. I imagine if I had positioned my torpedo bombers a little bit better, like one after another, I might have got more than 2 fires. Anyways, dive bombers. Torpedo bomber follow-up. The reason why I wanted to make sure that Yamato was dead is because it's a Yamato, and Yamatos have these incredible heals. Okay, straight ahead strafe, only 2 planes, but the ship got 3rd one itself. I think that 1 torpedo is still going to hit, which is a bit unfortunate, but I guess it does happen. Yeah, like I said, the reason... Okay, never mind, it didn't hit. The reason why I wanted to make sure that the Yamato was dead is because if the Yamato suddenly starts healing, and then uses his damage control party and stuff, then suddenly, 2 minutes later, he's at like 25,000 HP, or okay, 20,000 HP, and then like 2 minutes after that, even more, and he's like at 40,000 HP. So it's really difficult. Like, you need to make sure that the Yamato is dead, actually dead, because if you don't, then it just screws everything. The dive bomber is above the Habarovsk. I want to keep him spotted, or at least spot the torpedoes, so that my North Cal doesn't get derped away, at least for that moment. I mean, they weren't doing anything, because I don't want to do a single solo squadron drop on the Montana just like that, especially if there's a cruiser next to him. But at this point, I have my torpedo bombers on the side, so I can do a follow-up on this dive bomber drop, although I don't know if this dive bomber drop... Oh, actually it did. It got a fire. Very good. I wasn't certain, because Montanas are... They tend to have this thing called anti-air, which kinda ruins the day for carrier activities. Like, how dare they? How dare they put pea shooters on their decks of their ship to ruin the gameplay of glorious carrier master race. I don't understand this. This is insane. That should be illegal, just like using WASD. Okay, this Montana is ripping my planes apart, so I'm gonna do a really long range drop, because I think that if I wait even a tiny bit longer, there might be nothing left of the squadron that dropped. And I hit all of them anyway, so it's good enough. Although no flooding, that's a bit BS, for 4 torpedoes. This TIE bomber drop is a bit of a derp right now, because first of all, I should have just turned around and left. Because I saw the torpedoes coming in, and I was sailing into a Montana, which has decently good anti-air. I think only the carriers can compete with Montana's anti-air if you are fully anti-air spec'd. And I mean, of course, Des Moines with full anti-air spec and the Hindenburg, etc. get close when they use defensive fire. But those things do have quite a bit of dakka, so that TIE bomber drop was a bit of a mistake. So now I'm gonna show this rune that, well, he is not the greatest rune in this match. First, the TIE bomber drop, obviously, to get him to use damage control party. One thing I like about dropping on cruises, especially ones that aren't very anti-air heavy, is if you go squadron by squadron, it's very difficult for a cruiser to judge whether they should use defensive fire or not, because, you know, it's a cruiser. If there's lots of planes coming, of course you're gonna use damage control party, but if there's like 1 or 2 planes, do you really want to use damage control party? What if they come back later with like the entire, you know, air wing? Then you're like, oh snap, I should not have used defensive fire before. Also, that torpedo bomber drop was again quite derpish, but it's a cruiser, they are rather maneuverable, so the question is that if you don't drop like that, and if they turn in, then suddenly your drop just did nothing at all. By the way, if you look at it, we've been in the lead the entire... Also, did you just see that bug? Where he definitely used defensive fire, but the plane squadron suddenly wasn't panicked for a moment. The moment it dropped, that's like complete BS. That should not happen. But anyways, notice we were in the lead in this match, the entire goddamn match, and this was a 4 versus 4 at the very end, and ended as a 4 versus 3. Even though we did so well and were in the lead all the time, it was still very close. And this was with all my effort and all my friends' effort. I didn't get the most points, but I did a fair amount of damage, and well, I shot down more planes than the enemy Hakuryu, and I got way more experience. So I imagine I killed more ships. Sorry, I mean, when I say killed, I mean deal more percentage damage. Also, look at that, almost a witherer, almost. 3000 damage missing. Oh well, it happens. It was a great match. So anyways, I would like to thank the patrons and Patreon. Let's take today Ultra Real. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.